Okay, so interesting experiment tonight. I had an urge to play a miniatures game, and the only player around right now is me because of the COVID epidemic. So I decided to lay out a naval mat in my kitchen, and I pulled out some pre-dreadnoughts, Chinese and Japanese, and reenacted the Battle of the Yalu, 1894. Look it up. It's one of the most obscure but coolest battles in naval history, at least in relatively recent naval history. And it was between the Chinese Baiyang fleet and the Imperial Japanese fleet. Japan was trying to get up to some shenanigans in Korea. China objected, considering Korea one of their provinces, and they sent the Baiyang fleet to intercept the Japanese. The Japanese basically attacked the Chinese and historically whooped their ass, capturing a couple of ships and sinking a few. I don't remember the actual butcher's bill. But what's important to note is the Chinese fleet was relatively modern in terms of ship design. However, they had bought some, I think, off of Germany or England. But their level of training was abysmal, and the level of corruption in the fleet was astronomical. So their ships didn't operate really well. They had good equipment, but they didn't know really how to use them effectively. They had poor commanders. A bunch of kiss asses and political type figures were in charge of everything. So the fact that they actually scored some damage on the Japanese is somewhat of a minor miracle. The rules do reflect this. They have some pretty severe training restrictions in this system that I'm about to show you, but I didn't end up using them because I just wanted to get reacquainted with this game. I haven't played it in almost 30 years, and the last time I had it out actually to play another human being was via Cyberboard, played by Email Utility. And it wasn't all that fun because it's designed to be a simultaneous movement game. And obviously playing by myself wasn't, it was actually fun, but it would have been kind of miserable against using it as an email type game. Anyway, this is what it looks like. Fire one ready. Still in shrink wrap. I've actually had several copies over the years. This old flimsy cardboard box was one of metagaming's I guess biggest fallbacks when they were an active company. Was the games were kind of designed to be like almost semi-disposable. This is part of the microhistory line, which didn't exactly sell like hotcakes compared to things like Ogre or Melee. Wizard, those things were the big hits. But it doesn't matter. It's still a very functional set of pre-Dreadnought era rules, and I enjoyed it. In my game tonight, you'll see pictures on the blog. I had, since I did away with the training restrictions, I think that gave the Chinese an almost supernatural edge. I always like the underdog. Maybe I psychically was voting for the Chinese and when I was rolling the dice, but they were kind of managing to bash each other rather soundly with the slight edge going to the Chinese. And then, like at the last, I decided to, I think I went 10 turns with it. And at the very end, I mean, things started getting really grisly. At the last turn, the Chinese have basically somewhat aged cruisers, but they were very formidable in their day, still. But the two lead Chinese ships were the Tingyun and the Qinyun. I'm massacring the Chinese language. they had armor of 5, which was the best in the whole game, and the Japanese only managed to whittle a little bit of that armor away. I mean, the system is kind of fiddly, but nothing I found horribly unpleasant. It's just a lot of cross-referencing and looking things up and checking whether your shot hit or not. Well, that's kind of what you do in almost every naval game. They're usually trying to answer the question of whether if my ship's gun fires, will it actually hit that thing over there? Will it penetrate the armor around that thing over there? And what damage will it do to that thing over there? Well, this game does that. It's just a lot of checking. And I helped it out a little bit by putting most of the cognizant charts and rules, not the whole, I didn't transcribe the rule book or anything, but I put most of the charts in a spreadsheet, a Google spreadsheet, that I could read on my iPad, and I just ended up bouncing back and forth between the relative tables. Actually, by the end, I was getting pretty adept at it. So I wasn't really that disappointed with it. You know, old doesn't necessarily mean bad. It was very functional. It'll probably lack a little bit of chrome, but it certainly does the job of getting the feel of pre-dreadnought across. I mean, these are flimsy ships. And like one bad set of circumstances, like what happened to the Japanese at the very end of the game, was enough to like literally wipe them out. You know, there was a clear Chinese victory at the end. I think the by victory point totals, I think I was at 20 versus, or the Chinese were at 20 versus the Japanese at 4, because the Japanese sank a Chinese destroyer and a Chinese torpedo boat. The Chinese sank 3 cruisers and a destroyer. And that was like that was the main line of the Japanese, you know. And we also took several shots at the Fuso, the only notional battleship in the line for the Japanese. And it was really like a patched together older ship that had a lot of things wrong with it. But it had sufficient hit points or armor points to keep from sinking. But that's about all you can say. It was hopeless to shoot back. Anyway, you'll see pictures of this online on my blog, Third Point of Singularity. I'm not going to post tonight because it's getting late, but I just thought I'd put down my impressions here. I had a very good time with it. I'd rather play it against a human than myself, but even so, as solitaire games go, it was fun. So that's all I have. I've resurrected a game from probably 1980. Had a great time with it. Good night. Keep your hands washed. Keep your social distance, and we're all in this together.